If you feel like life is pressing you, pulling you down, stretching you to your limits, and closing every door you try to open, you're not failing. You're being tested. And that is the best thing that could be happening to you, because success never shows up before a test. It only comes after. That is the law. You don't walk into greatness without first being refined, shaken, pushed, and even broken. Not to destroy you, but to prepare you. To strengthen your mind, awaken your spirit, and demand the very best of what lies dormant within you. You are not being punished. You are being evaluated. Life wants to know, can you handle what you say you want? It is easy to dream big, to write goals on paper, to say the words, I want wealth, or I want greatness, or I want to leave a legacy. But the world doesn't respond to words. It responds to proof. And that proof comes in the form of pressure. Think about it. A diamond only forms under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. Muscles grow through resistance. So why would your character be built any other way? You're not behind. You're not lost. You're in the fire. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. The test isn't there to delay your success. It is the doorway to your success. It's life's way of saying, if you want this next level, you must become a next level version of yourself. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Everyone is tested. The difference between winners and the rest is that winners understand this. They expect it. They embrace it. They lean into the discomfort because they know what's waiting on the other side. Personal power, mastery, freedom, the kind that no one can take from you because you earned it. You became it. If your plans are being slowed down, it's because the man you need to become to hold that vision has not yet been fully activated. Your current habits, your current mindset, your current level of belief, it isn't strong enough yet. Not for what you're building. So life gives you a challenge, not as an enemy, but as a mentor. You say you want success. Life says, show me. And that test, it doesn't come with fanfare. It's subtle. It arrives in the form of silence when you're putting in the work, but nothing's happening. It shows up in the form of betrayal, disappointment, exhaustion. It disguises itself in the ordinary, bills piling up, people quitting on you, self-doubt creeping in like a thief in the night. That's the test right there. That's the moment most people quit. But not you. Not now. Because now you know what's really happening. The test is asking, will you keep showing up when no one claps? Will you believe when nothing outside supports your belief? Will you commit when comfort tries to seduce you back to mediocrity? The test is spiritual, mental, emotional, and it's always fair because it gives you the exact challenge you need to expose what you must change. You've been asking for growth. You've been asking for success. You've been asking for the next level. And life heard you. It responded not with gifts, but with a grind. Not with celebration, but with confrontation. Why? Because gifts are easy, but greatness requires effort. You can't fake your way to the top. Not in a lasting way. You might sneak through a door, but if you haven't become the man who belongs there, you'll be escorted right back out. Success is not sustained by tactics, it is sustained by transformation. And that transformation only happens through testing. So now I ask you, are you willing to pay the price? The price is discipline when comfort would be easier. Focus when distractions call your name. Integrity when shortcuts appear. Faith when logic says quit. You see, the test doesn't care what you say. It watches what you do. When the money's not coming in, will you still show up like it is? When the results don't match the effort, will you double the effort? When the world doubts you, will you believe so deeply that the world has no choice but to adjust? Because that's what success demands. It demands that you become undeniable. Let me tell you something I've learned from decades of studying the richest men who ever lived. They all went through the test, all of them. They didn't just get lucky. They didn't stumble into fortune. They were broken, battered, doubted, and laughed at. But they kept going because somewhere along the way they learned to trust the test. They learned to see pain as a portal, frustration as fuel, delay as divine development. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about powerful thinking, strategic thinking, disciplined thinking, because your thoughts, not your conditions, create your future. Right now, the enemy isn't outside of you. It's not the market. It's not your circumstances. It's not your background. It's the fear inside that says, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe it's too late. That voice is part of the test. And the only way to silence that voice is with action. Act in faith. Act in power. Act with decision. Decision backed by definiteness of purpose, that cornerstone of success I've taught for years. Without a definite purpose, you drift. And when you drift, you become prey to every distraction, every fear, every test. But when you are rooted in a clear, definite purpose, nothing can move you. The storm may come. Let it. You'll remain. Because you know who you are and where you are going. And that knowledge is the first step in passing the test. The second step is emotional control. Fear is natural, but living in fear is a choice. You must discipline your emotional responses the way a warrior disciplines his sword. Stay sharp. Stay steady. Do not panic in the test. The moment you feel resistance, say to yourself, this is a good sign. This means I'm growing. This means I'm close. Every time you pass a test, and I mean really pass it, not by luck, but with conscious mastery, your mind expands. Your capacity grows. You become a bigger vessel, able to hold more power, more opportunity, more abundance. You don't get rich by chasing money. You get rich by building yourself into the kind of person who attracts it. And that kind of person is born not in comfort, but in testing. When you endure, when you press through, when you stay standing after others have sat down, you unlock doors others will never find. You start receiving insights that logic can't explain. People begin to say, how did you do it? And you'll know the truth. You were tested, and you didn't run. Now let me make this clear. The test will not end. It evolves. Every new level will bring a new challenge, but that is a gift because it means you're moving. The worst thing that can happen is not being tested, it's being ignored. It's being left to rot in comfort. That's where dreams go to die. But the man who is tested often, he is chosen. He is called. He is on the path of transformation. And the test is not meant to crush your spirit. It is meant to forge your identity. You are not the same man you were last year. You shouldn't be. If you've embraced the struggle, the pressure, the silence, you have evolved. You have become sharper, clearer, stronger. That's the purpose of the test. Not just to achieve more, but to become more. So now, take a breath. Recognize what's happening. Stop labeling your trials as punishments. See them for what they are, a sacred refinement, a process of becoming. You asked for success. Life responded with a mirror showing you every weakness, every flaw, every excuse that must be burned away before you can rise. Let it burn. Let the fear surface. Let the doubt speak. And then overrule it, because that is your power. That is your right. That is your responsibility. You are not a victim of your tests. You are the student. And if you learn well, you will become the master. Not because you escaped the fire, but because you walked through it and came out gold. To reveal the real you, not the one dressed in comfort and fantasy, but the one forged in fire and conviction. Life will not hand you power without knowing first that you are strong enough to wield it with purpose. Understand this clearly. You are being tested not to fail, but to rise. You must come to realize the secret most never